was speaking, you guys have to understand that the Most High in his word said that we, the remnant, shall remember ourselves in the land of our oppressors. So when you come and hear this word, we don't have to be into numbers as remnant, right? Because the Most High already established the number of men and women that will make it. 1/3. 2/3 shall not make it. So it's not up to us to sit up here and convince near one of you of what we're trying to teach. Because when you hear the word that we are speaking and the things that we are teaching of the Most High, you will remember yourselves in the land of our oppressors, which is right now. The other night, the Most High gave me a dream. And I thought he was going to elaborate, but he was like, you got this, right? And it was a dream about me and my upbringing. And it was about my mother. And this is something to the women because we are responsible. Because right now in the land of our oppressors, we need to remember who we are as women of the Most High, right? Yes, the men have their position, and so do we, and ours is powerful too, right? Even though there are positions, the Most High, the men, the women, the children, and so on, it does not make our position less powerful. But in the land of our oppressors, what we have done is we have, because of what we're taught here, we have been taught to tear down our house with our own hands. And I know we've heard this in the Christian church, right? In other churches, and they teach women that, oh yes, you women, because it's like a put down, right? It's like they're putting us down as women. They're always trying to say women this and women do this and women do that, but nobody wants to take responsibility. But what the Most High is saying, yes, the men must take responsibility, but we have to take responsibility too, because this system has taught us how to tear our house down with our own hands.
Talk about it.
And it's not necessarily our fault, because this is how we've been raised. We can go back to being enslaved. We can blame men not being in the household, because we were all affected. Men and women were affected. But he showed my own house. He showed my mom. And in this house, it was me and my sister, and it seemed like there were some other kids in the house. And my mother was doing something. And my mother believed, she Catholic, right? My father believed in God, Christ, Jesus, right? Okay, that's fine, because remember, it doesn't matter who you call him right now, right? Because when you remember yourself in the land of your oppressors and he allows you to receive understanding, he knows that you don't know right now, right? He gives you the leeway of understanding that I know where my children are right now. But when they come to me, they gonna know who I am. Yahweh Shai, right? Not Jesus, not whatever they have taught you to call him in this system, in this white world, right? But he showed my mom, and we were in the house, and my mother was doing something. And it was some erratic behavior, right? And the erratic behavior that she was having was causing our house to fall down. And it was raining. And I'm looking at my mom from where I'm at right now. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, something is going on. And I'm looking at her, and I'm feeling some stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And so it's like I grabbed my siblings and whoever was there, and we ran out the house. And the house fell. Like, it was like a second. Like, I didn't even get time to look back, and the house was on the ground. And then these men start coming to the house. And I couldn't tell in the dream whether they were evil. It was like it was like the system coming. And I was like, dang, but she was afraid. She was afraid of these men that were coming. But even though she was afraid, the only way she knew how to act was how she was doing, because she didn't understand that she was tearing her house down with her own hands. She didn't understand what she was doing. And so I just keep seeing these men coming. And I woke up and I was thinking, I also told my mother in a dream, you did all that while we were in the house? Like you were oblivious to what this was going to create when you were reacting this way, right? And so she didn't have a response. She just had like a dumbfounded look on her face. And in my head, I was like, well, dang, because he wanted me to understand what was going on. He didn't want me to have the mindset that I had when I was younger. He wanted me to look at the situation from where I am at right now. So it made me understand that with the system, how we're raised, how we have fatherless homes, how we're taught to be. We always talk on Remnant about women on YouTube. I always talk about they're doing what they're doing, right? And everything is good. You're getting your money, and our black women are getting their money, and everything is all good. But you know what they all lack? Relationship, male relationship, a husband, somebody. They always talk about, oh, you know, I'm doing this, that, and the other, and I'm making my money. And then a few videos later, you see them saying that they dated this person, they was dating this person. Then 3 weeks later, they was dating somebody. Now they broke up because they don't know how to keep a man, right? They don't understand what relationship is. They don't know what to look for, because now that they got a little bit of money, they looking for the man with a little bit of money. When they didn't have it, they started off with nothing. Now you have this different perception about what you should be looking for in a man or a woman. But I go back to the tearing our house down with our own hands. I start thinking about my life, and I went over how I was raised. My father was in the house, but he was a player, which back then most of our fathers were. And I looked at what that did to me when I was growing up, and what I was looking for. Let me know if I need to move. What I was looking for when I grew up, and what I didn't like, because I didn't find out about what my dad was doing until I was a teenager. And it made me angry at men, right? And even in my relationship, there were things that I grew up didn't like don't bring me no flowers. Don't ever bring me flowers. I don't care for flowers. Don't bring me no flowers, because I know what that means, right? That means that you done went out there and did some stuff, and now you trying to bring me some goddamn flowers like that's gonna make up for what you done went out there and did, because you just a dishonest man, right? Because when we grow up, we don't know what honesty looks like. And as women, we literally learn to live with lies, right? We learn to live with dishonesty. We learn to live with disrespect, because we don't feel like it exists out there, right? So when I met my husband, who was brutally honest, I had to come to say, look, I don't need to know no more, okay? I don't need you to tell me nothing else about what you're doing, you know? But I appreciated that. And people would always say, women would say, you know, he just ain't honest. You know why? Because we have been raised where we can't even appreciate honesty. We can't take it. We cannot take honesty, right? When somebody is brutally honest, we can't take it, we can't accept it, but we can accept a lie. And we can literally build a world around a lie and live with it, right? We will literally live with a man or a woman in their lies, because we don't feel like we could get anything better. So the situation that my mother was going through in the household, because she did not have the information, and neither did my father, she thought that she was doing the best that she could in our household, because she didn't know no better. So she allowed us to do whatever we wanted to do so that we wouldn't be angry with her, right? Now, my mom was white. She gonna let you do anything anyway, right? But she still wants you to be her best friend. A black mama might be, she gonna be a little more strict, right? But she still is not gonna the things that come out of that is we start bashing men. And then your children are around that, right? You start bashing men. You start talking about your baby daddies. You start going through all these things. And this is things that I'm not saying happens in every household, but this is what happened in mine. And this is what distorted my outlook on relationships, men, how I dealt with people, because I did not know how. And didn't even love myself, right? So I say all that to say I know I'm all over the place because the dream was so specific to me. And when he was talking just about men, I want to let you guys know that the same way he felt, right, about I'm living this way and I'm living this way to the Most High and I just benefit, same way for women. We live this way. We live as unto the Most High, and our men benefit from who we are, right? It goes both ways. So while we don't want women sitting around here thinking that, yes, we are subservient to men and there's no responsibility, we have the utmost responsibility to the Most High. And then our men benefit from that. It's a lot of women say, well, he do this, he do that. I said, well, what you're doing right now, who are you doing it for? Because if you're doing it as unto the Most High, everything will be perfect, right? Everything will line up. And if that person is not lined up with the Most High, he ain't got to deal with you. He got to deal with that person, and vice versa. And that's how we live our life, unto the Most High. Not we live unto each other, but it's unto the Most High, because if the two are aligned unto the Most High, then we each have to be accountable for our own actions, right? And that's how we live. So we don't want to be saying that, you know, we are not accountable and we are just subservient, right? Because yes, we're supposed to be humble, we're supposed to be meek, and we're all those things, but we're also powerful in our own right. So I just want to let our women know that, yes, we are that. And once our mindsets are changed, we can stop the tearing down of our own houses. Because when he was talking earlier, I always go back and tell the remnant, the most important reason why we are where we're at right now is so that our children don't have to grow up where we're at right now. They can grow up in the know, the knowing who they are. Because see, we are coming into the information of the knowing who we are now. We know we are remnant. You know how Jews, they walk around with the know? You know, they just
think they know.
Yeah, with the think they know. They done stole our identity and stuff. You know, they walking around with the know. That's us. That's where we will be. But it will take this information in order for us to get to that place, to raise our children up in the know. Because it's important. And it doesn't matter, because we will get there. Right, remnant? Our children will be there. That's why it's so powerful that some of us have brought our children, no matter what age, because it doesn't matter. We bring our children into the information at a young age so that they can raise their children up in the know, right? Because that's where the Most High wants us to be. That's where we will be mighty conquerors, right? A mighty nation of conquerors, right, remnant? All right.
Thank you, baby. Okay, we're going to eat, and then we're going to hear from Zakari. So we're going to allow our guests to go first, and the ladies, and the children, and then the men can go after. So the way they're doing it, it's like a buffet.